Hi everybody, Dion Lisle. I run my own consulting firm called Ficeri 25, and I joined Professor G's strategy sprint in July to evaluate opportunity for one of my clients. The client is called Cloudcase. They're an Australian fintech, B2B, which I struggled with in this course at first, to be perfectly honest. And basically, they're a software platform that allows banks to deliver higher value for their customers by digitizing or automating a lot of the things that banks do. So what I wanted to do with this course was evaluate the strategic options for my client, Cloudcase, by combining category creation and the T algorithm. And you'll see here that they're Australian, name is Cloudcase, and they're most often compared to what's called RPA, or robotic process automation providers. So banks need to digitize. That's no longer debatable. So IDC predicted that by 2022, 80% of revenue growth for banks will depend on digital offerings, and they are woefully behind in this goal. So I assure you that they need to do something. So basically, it's stalled. McKinsey did a research project with a bunch of banks, asked them, how goes it? How goes digitization? Clearly stalled. Most have not done it. Most have failed at it. Then along comes COVID-19, and suddenly digital transformation is no longer years away. It has to happen sooner rather than later. So really, when I look at Cloudcase, using Goldilocks here, RPA, or robotic process automation, is not enough. It's kind of damaging to employee morale because it sounds like you're being replaced by a robot. The failure rate is actually quite bad, and it doesn't account for bad processes that are automated, meaning you have a bad process, now you've just automated it, and it's a fast bad process. Conversely, digital transformation on the other end of the spectrum, it's too much. It's boiling the ocean, as the cliche goes. Even McKinsey, who sells billions in digital transformation, admit most of these fails. And even the ones that do well take 18 to 36 months. Well, the bank can't just stop operating. So what would Goldilocks do? Well, I would argue neither, and I'll tell you why. Robotic process automation already crowded space. Ernst & Young did a study, found 30 to 50% of initial RPA projects fail. DX Journal, literally a magazine covering nothing but digital transformation, says 70% of digital transformations fail. That's from a magazine that covers digital transformations. Okay, the folks over at Harvard Business Review, 1.3 trillion spent on digital transformation in 2018. 70% of that was wasted. So what does Goldilocks do? Well, how about this? Create a new category, then use the T algorithm to dominate the category we create. So I want to talk a little bit first about category creation. I got a book called Play Bigger, excellent book. And the reason you do categories is that's the way people discover and relate to companies and products. And they have some great examples in the book, and I won't go through all that. I'll go through one specifically. Category creation is the strategy that allowed Siebel to become the leader of the CRM, or customer resource management space, way back when. They got bought by Oracle for $5.85 billion. Salesforce then used that same playbook to overtake Siebel. You'll see here, Siebel did a great job, built billions in value. Salesforce exceeded that, right? Salesforce was able to grow the market and dominate the market. Now, what's interesting about this, they did it using category creation. And I don't know if the people at Salesforce, Mark Benioff, I don't know if he knows Prof or not, but he really used the playbook quite well. Mark Benioff is one of the most likable CEOs in tech, does a lot of social stuff, does a lot of high visibility stuff. Rundle. Salesforce has expanded CRM, you'll see here, to mean virtually anything related to sales or marketing. Vertical integration. They do $1 billion in services, and they do their own venture investing, which you'll see on the next slide is very powerful. Visionary storytelling. They came out with something called No Software years ago. They've been building on that ever since. And I've been to Dreamforce, their annual event. It's a must-attend event in enterprise software, and it's fantastic. Additionally, Salesforce has 70% margins on 20% growth. I'm not sure they're making a trade-off between growth and margins. They really have grown rapidly. They're a 15-plus-year-old company. They're public. But if you look at the Prof's T algorithm, Salesforce nails it. So, ultimate Benjamin Button. Salesforce gets license fees from a company called Encino. Encino just went public this last week. Well, Encino was partly owned, 13%, by Salesforce. So Salesforce, in the ultimate both combination of Rundle and Benjamin Button, built all of their ecosystem. They built a startup with a $6.9 billion valuation on top of their platform. That's the ultimate flywheel effect. Now, let's get back to my company, Cloudcase. I'm creating a category called Rapid Digital Transformation RDT. The headline, Digital Transformation Too Big to Succeed, playing on the banks too big to fail. Digital transformation stalled. There's a pain of no action. Winners have to digitize. Now, my vision is successful digital transformation down here is think big, start small, iterate rapidly, right? You build digital transformation one digitized process at a time, or as I like to say here, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? Rapid digital transformation is going to be about not spending billions on digital transformation because it doesn't yield the results, but fixing things that frustrate the customers of banks. Banks want a solution that's faster and easier than investing in on-site consultants and new core systems. Digital transformation is still needed, but it has to deliver quick wins. Now let's look at it this way. As a summary, create a new category in between RPA, robotic process automation, and digital transformation called Rapid Digital Transformation. Appeals to bankers' desire to make things easier for their customers and themselves without risking their career on a huge failed DX project. I know many a banker who's had their career stalled because they bet on the wrong big multi-million-dollar project. Now, visionary storytelling. Digital transformation is too big to succeed is kind of a bold statement, but it's also kind of exciting because bankers know they need to digitally transform. They just don't know how to digitally transform. So now let's look at picturing a bank with process rather than think of some theoretical future state of nirvana that's unlikely. Just digitize some process. Now, growth and margins, really important here for my client Cloudcase to grow the US market, to access cheap US venture capital. That's going to be the key for us to grow in the future. So we have to get those first 10 customers going before we can access VC. And the way to do that is to get those customers. So Rapid Digital Transformation, RDT, for Cloudcase, tagline, your business digitally transformed. Easy to get your head around, good storytelling. The vision, Cloudcase delivers rapid digital transformation by connecting people to process to data. Again, people understand that. The mission, what we do, who we serve. Rules platform, every business leader and every financial institution can benefit from digital transformation starting now. Okay, now let's look at how I arrived here with the T algorithm worksheets. So I use RPA or robotic process automation competitors here, but I'm avoiding them in the market. But they give a good bench mark for where are we going, where are we coming from. So one of the competitors I list here is do nothing. If you've ever worked with banks, they will always look at a do nothing opportunity because for them, it's the safest route. They don't get fired for doing nothing. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but they don't. So then you look at these intermediate companies, UiPath, Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, and WorkFusion. They're all fine RPA vendors. But as you look at Career Accelerant, there's nobody in my world that says, oh my gosh, I really need to go work for an RPA vendor, right? UiPath does a pretty good job. And then the other piece of this is the Rundle and the vertical integration. Many opportunities to add artificial intelligence, machine learning, and even business process management here, but nobody seems to do it completely. Now, UiPath and Auto Anywhere actually does a pretty good job with a Rundle where they combine other pieces of the puzzle, but nobody really does a full end-to-end yet. Now, it's early in the RPA market, so maybe they have some roadmap I'm not aware of, right? Now, the other thing is the vertical integration. All of these RPA vendors tend to rely on the big consulting houses, Accenture, Mild Forensic, Capgemini, some of the others. And I think they lose a lot of opportunities in service and they let go of the control of the implementation. Benjamin Button, UiPath has expanded beyond its core. I haven't seen the others. Likability, RPA vendors don't tend to have these CEOs like a Mark Benioff or Jeff Bezos that are really visible in the world. And then just finally, category creation. All the RPA vendors seem to reside in that bucket. That's something I don't think my client Cloudcase is going to win by doing. So I added the category creation onto the very excellent T algorithm. So the ones I focused on, there were three. One, appealing to human interest. We're intermediate, not great. Visionary storytelling. We have a good story. I like where we're going with this new category creation that we did down here, but we've got to get a better PR and a better content development. Rundle vertical integration, Benjamin Button, maybe in phase 2. Maintaining growth and margin, table stakes for the growth, because we have to get the growth now here so we can advance quickly. The Career Accelerant, novice. It's an Australian-based company. I don't think we need to be a Career Accelerant yet. And then finally, let's look at the investment grid. Real quickly, as I looked at this, Career Accelerant, Rundle, vertical integration, they're all not really applicable yet. And I'm not saying they won't be in the next phase, but for now, really want to focus on our visionary storytelling, the growth, and appealing to human instinct. And the appealing to human instinct is key because bankers tend to do by committee what most of us would do alone or with 2 people. So appealing to the human instinct of a broad range of people is not easy, and that's where a lot of our communication focus is going to have to be. Well, that concludes my presentation for this Prof G Sprint. Hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, please reach out to me on the Slack channel, or my email is Dion, D-I-O-N, at Facere, F-A-C-E-R-E, 25.com. Thank you very much.